us in the Zoom room, we can do more numbers than that, but we are now recording officially where we're going to talk a little bit about your next project, which you have another week to do. So as a reminder, 8.3 is due tonight. I'm pretty sure most of you are finished up, unless you've been excused for some time. I can help you catch up, but I think most of us finished that fairly quickly because they are really useful skills, really useful things to use when you're creating your compositions. Those are going to be things that you're consistently exploring, consistently looking into while you create more believable scenes with Photoshop. It's one of the main sort of concept art directions that we go in with graphic design and in this class. So they are really useful skills, and you will get plenty of practice with them beyond this class. So what we're doing today is project 8.4. I saw some of y'all were already looking at, or you're already Photoshopping a little bit. I love that. You can keep doing that while I'm talking, but if you're looking for a place to start, I'm going to walk through what I'm looking for out of this assignment, as well as what you're going to be focusing on for the purposes of the execution. So I need to check something real quick and make sure that Unsplash is working. I saw on some computers that it was not. Mine seems to be working. If yours is not, then I'll troubleshoot with you individually. But mine, let me do two more just to be sure. Okay. And then someone give me an animal. I already got cat. Spider. Okay, yeah, so mine seems to be working. These are pretty spiders. So I will figure out why yours is not, if that's the case. So you guys are creating a surreal creature composition. We already did this, the creature part with the duck horse, combining at least two different animals together to create a new thing. If you think about, if you're looking for a place to start, there are lots of animals that are, their name is made up of two other animals, like a bull shark or something like a tree frog, right? Those are really easy compositions to make more of in a humorous kind of funny direction because it's a little bit more literal to their actual name. You can think of, I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head right now, but I will, I'll put them in the replies. How about that? If you're looking for something to start. Okay, anyways, so now we're gonna combine the principles of design that we've explored with a lot of our Illustrator projects with a Photoshop creature landscape that you're gonna be building today. So we've got a lot of the basics really practiced. We've got making selections using layers, drawing and painting with the brush tools, layer masks especially. This is starting to get into more things where we are going to be practicing. So like combining and the altering of the images, different layer modes, different blend modes, and then there's a couple tools I'll show you for color correction. Now's your chance to put all of those together into one scene, one composition. So this is going to include an animal and a background that you'll need to put together. You'll create a surreal creature by combining two animals of your choice, and they should be placed in a landscape made of images that you mask, manipulate, and combine in Photoshop to focus on the principles of design, which are right here. So these are things we didn't talk especially about some of how these words relate, but contrast relates to color and to balance, which is also related to space. Repetition, these are all words that we haven't actually used. Sorry, this is from Mr. Hendricks, but we have, I'll translate these to the ones that we have here. Okay, so your goals for this assignment are to practice and showcase your Photoshop techniques that we've been covering throughout Unit 8, using photos and blending those together to create a believable but still surreal sort of art piece, and then keeping in mind the design principles to organize a composition. It's going to be the composed pieces all together to show some depth techniques, which we'll get into here in a sec. I'll do your setup also here in a second. There's some requirements for the document that you're creating, as well as a creature must be made of at least two different animals. The showcase must seamlessly blend the shadows and the animals together to create an environment that is believable. And then you want to arrange your composition with some depth techniques, focal point, and design principles in mind. And we'll go over that in more detail as the days progress, but there's a broken down work cycle. It's actually 5 days. I need to change this number. But today for you guys, 5/21 is your research day. Planning your creature, observing and studying the links that I'm going to put in your thread to start looking for how you're going to combine your images. Remember, you want to make this as easy as possible on yourself. Hi, good morning. You want to save yourself as much time as you can. So if you look at Mr. Hendrix's samples here, he's chosen two animals that have a similar sort of like fur color or I said fur already, feather color or scale color, right? It's going to be a lot easier to blend these two creatures together. You still get to choose the creatures, obviously, but a great tip for compositing things is look for things that are about the same color. That's that tone feature that I mentioned last time. Lucas and Brody, put your phones away, please. Thank you, and you as well. Okay, so anyway, you want to look for not only creatures that have a similar fur color, but are also looking in some kind of similar direction. These are easy to like flip if you need to, but since this dog and this bird both have their heads facing to the right, when you combine them together, it makes it a much smoother process with a lot less headache and a lot less having to adjust things and do a lot of detailed fixing. So day one today is researching. And I want you guys to use Unsplash to get your pictures. Make sure it doesn't have this really hard to see little plus icon. You can tell when it's Unsplash. Oh, it doesn't have it on here, of course. But your download buttons should be green, the download free ones. Normal Unsplash stuff. So you need to choose at least two animals. You can mix more than two, but it might be a little bit more challenging, which is not to say you can't do it, but just be ready for a little bit more challenge. And then start setting up your artboard and your document, and you can start masking and combining today. So yeah, my numbers are all off. I need to go fix those. So what Mr. Hendrix and I are looking for out of this assignment, you can see the step-by-steps along the workday, is combining the creature that you Photoshop with some other things inside of a landscape to create a scene that it's a surreal piece of art. If you've taken any kind of traditional art classes here at Skyline, this is about the surrealism kind of abstract movement. You can go a lot of fun directions with this. But we're looking for an end result that looks something like this, which is why you have a week to complete this assignment up until next Tuesday. So what you should be doing today, we're going to focus on the day one, 521, or it is 521 today. Okay. Choose a creature that you want to blend together. Experiment with a little bit of masking. Don't commit to it too hard. Think of it like a draft. Okay. Just kind of combine your masks, see what looks good, see what looks nice. Try a few different creature combinations together. See which ones you like the most. And start thinking about what kind of landscape you want to put this in or put them in. So what this might look like for me, because I want to do, I think bull shark was funny, so I'm going to do that one. So I'm going to have one Unsplash tab open for bulls. I'm going to split it on the side here. Oh, it's going to be really big. Let me zoom out. Okay. All right. There we go. That's what I was hoping for. All right. So remember, my screen is really tiny, so it's going to look much better on your screen. So I'm going to pull up bulls and sharks. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to look for how these two pictures that I'm going to choose are going to combine nicely. So if I look, oh, that's Unsplash Plus. Give me another good shark. Another left-looking shark. Okay, that's fine. So let's do this one for an example. This shark is looking to the right, and it's got a very kind of washed out blue color scheme, obviously due to the ocean. I want to find a bull looking a similar direction that I can start to think about how these two are going to combine with one another. All right, maybe that one is not ideal. It's going to be hard to find a blue bull, but this one's got kind of the ashy, paler fur color, and it's got some light that I don't want to deal with actually. Let me see. Give me a good example. Black and white could be good too, because it's going to be easy to translate it to this washed out blue or this blue saturated picture that we're dealing with here. Give me white could be useful. None of these are looking particularly the same direction. So it's a little bit of a process. Maybe I'll choose a different shark if that proves to be too annoying. So let's look at this guy and this guy. So these two pictures are, oh, that's Unsplash Plus. So imagine if this was not Unsplash Plus. You could see how you could combine the mask out of the bull's face here onto the shark to create a bull shark composition in that way. That's what I want you guys to think about doing today, while also considering what kind of landscape you want to put these animals in. So if I'm doing a bull shark, it's going to be surreal no matter which way you put it. Bull or cows obviously aren't going to do super well underwater, nor are sharks going to do super great on a farm. That's the fun part about combining these two together, is I get to choose, do I want to go the land direction or do I want to go the sea direction? And that choice is up to you when you're creating your landscapes and your comps. So what I'm going to do, I think you guys have a pretty good handle on what sort of animal you have in mind for the two that you want to combine or the scene that you want to create. I want you guys today to just focus on researching and doing some setup. Don't do too much photoshopping. Do not finish this project by today. You have lots of time to do it and lots of time to make a really good example of what we're doing, because we have a 3-day weekend. So we'll have one less Monday to work on it. We'll come right back on a Tuesday and it'll be ready to go. So focus today on day 1. I need to update these numbers on researching, combining, gathering your materials, gathering some inspiration. Let's see. What if we just Googled photoshopped animals? I remember seeing this like forever ago. Someone did a bunch of different ones. You don't have to do this. There's duck horse. What do you know? So horse shark, like this is what we're going for here. I'll just click the funny one just to be a total and complete boomer. This is what we're going for. You're combining animals. That's not exactly a Photoshop, but combining animals in such a way that it becomes surreal, becomes a composition. Anyway, I've talked enough. You guys get it. So I'll be walking around. If you have any specific help or any questions, you have about an hour to get your stuff put together and set up. I'll come back in a bit to talk about if you filled out my survey last week. I have the treats today. And since you put your name on it, I will call you by name to come grab those. But that's at the end of class. You should be working on 8.4 for the majority of class here. This is due on the 28th. So use your time wisely. Make something that you're proud of. Show off to your friends. It'll be fun. Cool. Thank you guys for listening. We're going off the air. Use this time wisely while I gather some resources and extra materials that'll help you in this process. Thanks.